welcome to English Vibes Hub. I'm your host, Emma, and I'm excited to be here today to talk about something that's really important for all of us in this digital age: mastering English for social media and online interactions. Whether you're looking to improve your language skills for work, study, or just to connect with friends and family, this topic is crucial.
That's right, Emma. And I think it's interesting because so many of us use social media and the internet every day, but we don't always think about the language we're using. We might be using it instinctively, but to really get the most out of these platforms and to communicate effectively, we need to have a good grasp of English. So let's dive in and explore some of the key language and skills we need.
Absolutely. One of the things that can be tricky when it comes to online interactions is using the right phrasal verbs and idioms. These can be really confusing, especially if you're not familiar with them. So, let's start with a few examples. One phrasal verb that's commonly used online is to share. For instance, if someone posts a funny video, you might say, "I'm going to share this with my friends." It means to post or send something to others so they can see it too.
That's a great example, Emma. And another one that's closely related is to post. If you're on social media, you might say, "I'm going to post a picture of my vacation." It means to upload or publish something online for others to see. These phrasal verbs are essential for online communication, and understanding their meanings can really help you navigate social media platforms more effectively.
Exactly. And let's talk about an idiom that's often used in online conversations: to break the ice. This means to do or say something that helps people feel more comfortable and start talking to each other. For example, if you're in an online meeting and everyone is quiet, you might tell a joke to break the ice. It's a way of easing any awkwardness and encouraging conversation.
I love that idiom, Emma. It's so useful in all kinds of situations, not just online. And speaking of useful expressions, another phrasal verb that's really common is to log in. This means to enter your username and password to access a website or online account. It's something we all do every day, but it's an important part of online language.
That's right, Liam. And understanding these expressions can make a big difference in how effectively you communicate online. It's not just about knowing the individual words, it's about understanding how they're used in context. So, let's keep exploring more of these phrasal verbs and idioms, and see how they can help us improve our English for social media and online interactions.
One more example that comes to mind is the idiom to go viral. This means that something, like a video or a post, becomes extremely popular and is shared by a huge number of people in a short amount of time. It's a great way to describe the phenomenon of how content can spread rapidly online.
Going viral is definitely a goal for many content creators, but it's also important to understand the language around it. For instance, if something goes viral, you might say, "The video went viral overnight," meaning it became extremely popular very quickly. This kind of language helps us describe the fast-paced and ever-changing world of social media.
It's fascinating how language evolves alongside technology, isn't it? The way we communicate online is constantly changing, and our language has to adapt to keep up. This is why learning about phrasal verbs and idioms is so important. It helps us stay current and communicate more effectively. That's a great point, Emma. Following someone on social media is a way of showing interest in what they have to say or share. And it's a two-way street. When you follow someone, you're not just receiving their updates, you're also potentially starting a conversation or building a connection with them.
Exactly. And speaking of conversations, let's talk about the idiom to keep in touch. This means to maintain contact with someone over time, even if you're not physically close. In the context of online interactions, it might mean regularly commenting on someone's posts, sending them messages, or participating in online groups together.
Keeping in touch is so much easier now with social media, but it still requires effort. You have to be proactive and engage with others regularly. It's not just about sending a friend request or following someone. It's about actively contributing to the conversation and showing genuine interest in what they're doing.
That's a great point, Liam. Engaging with others online is key to building and maintaining relationships. And it's not just about personal relationships, it's also about professional networking. Understanding how to use language effectively online can open up a lot of opportunities, whether it's for collaboration, learning, or career advancement.
The professional aspect is really important. In many industries, having a strong online presence is crucial for success. It's not just about having a profile, it's about being active, sharing relevant content, and engaging with your network. This is where mastering English for social media and online interactions can really give you an edge.
Let's think about another scenario: online meetings. These have become so common, especially with remote work on the rise. Being able to communicate effectively in these settings is vital. You might use phrasal verbs like to dial in or to log on to describe how you're joining the meeting.
Yes, and in those meetings, you might also use idioms like to get to the point or to cut to the chase, which means to start talking about the most important part of the conversation without wasting time on less important details. It's about being efficient and respectful of everyone's time.
Efficiency is key in online meetings, where distractions can be high and attention spans can be short. Using the right language can help you stay focused and ensure that your message gets across clearly. Let's explore more of these expressions and how they can be used in different contexts.
I think it would be helpful to give our listeners some practical tips on how to improve their English for social media and online interactions. We could discuss strategies for learning new phrasal verbs and idioms and how to practice using them in real-life situations.
That's a fantastic idea, Liam. Giving our listeners actionable advice will help them feel more confident and prepared to tackle the world of online English. Let's dive into some of those strategies and see how we can apply them to everyday online conversations.
One strategy could be to start a language learning journal where you write down new expressions you come across and try to use them in your own sentences. This active engagement with the language can really help solidify your understanding and make it easier to recall the expressions when you need them.
I love that idea, Liam. And another strategy could be to find a language exchange partner online. This way, you can practice your English with someone who is also looking to improve their language skills. It's a win-win situation that can lead to some really valuable connections and learning opportunities.
Finding a language exchange partner can be a bit challenging, but there are many online platforms and communities that facilitate these connections. It's all about being proactive and seeking out the resources that are available to you.
Proactivity is key when it comes to learning any new skill, including English for social media and online interactions. By taking the initiative to learn and practice, you can significantly improve your abilities and open up new opportunities for yourself.
I think that's a great place to pause for now, Emma. We've covered some really important ground, and I'm excited to continue this conversation in our next part.
Welcome back to English Vibes Hub. I'm Emma, and I'm here with Liam. We're diving deeper into mastering English for social media and online interactions. Liam, you were saying something interesting before we paused about the importance of understanding nuances in online language.
Yes, exactly. I think one of the challenges people face is navigating the differences between formal and informal language online. For instance, using the phrasal verb to touch base can be very useful in professional emails or messages, but it might sound too formal in a casual chat with friends on social media.
That's a great point, Liam. To touch base essentially means to get in touch or catch up with someone, usually to discuss something specific. It's a very handy expression for both personal and professional communication. Let's give our listeners an example. If you were to touch base with a friend you haven't seen in a while, you might send them a message saying, "Hey, I just wanted to touch base and see how you're doing."
Exactly. And another phrasal verb that's commonly used in online interactions is to follow up. This means to contact someone again to check on the progress of something or to remind them about it. For example, if you've applied for a job and haven't heard back, you might decide to follow up with an email to inquire about the status of your application.
Following up is crucial, especially in professional contexts. It shows that you're interested and proactive. Now, let's talk about the idiom to be on the same page. This means to have a shared understanding or agreement about something. It's really useful in team projects or discussions, where you need to ensure everyone has the same information or goals.
I love that idiom. It's so common in meetings or group chats. For instance, before starting a project, you might say, just to make sure we're all on the same page, let's review the objectives one more time. It helps prevent misunderstandings and ensures everyone is working towards the same outcome.
Let's do a role play to make this more engaging for our listeners. Liam, Imagine you're managing a social media campaign and I'm a team member. We need to discuss the strategy for the next week.
Sounds like a plan, Emma. Let's get started. First, I think we need to touch base with our graphic designer to see if the new visuals are ready. Then, we can follow up with our content writer to finalize the posts for the week.
That sounds like a solid plan. But before we move forward, let's make sure we're all on the same page regarding the campaign's target audience and the key messages we want to convey. We don't want to end up barking up the wrong tree with our content.
Barking up the wrong tree is a great idiom to use here. It means to pursue a wrong or misguided line of thought or action. In our case, it would mean targeting the wrong audience or focusing on the wrong messages, which could be counterproductive.
Exactly. So, let's review our strategy carefully to avoid that. Another useful expression is to give someone the lowdown. This means to give someone all the information they need to know about a particular situation. If a new member joins our team, we would give them the lowdown on the campaign's current status and objectives.
I like that. Giving the lowdown is essential for bringing new team members up to speed. And finally, let's not forget the phrasal verb to keep tabs on something. This means to monitor or keep track of something. In the context of our social media campaign, we need to keep tabs on the engagement metrics to see how our content is performing.
Keeping tabs on our metrics will help us adjust our strategy as needed. It's all about being flexible and responsive to the feedback we're getting from our audience. Now, let me share a personal story related to this. When I first started managing social media for a small business, I had to learn quickly how to navigate all these nuances and use the right language to engage our audience effectively.
That's really interesting, Emma. I'm sure our listeners would love to hear more about your experiences and the challenges you faced. Maybe you could share some specific instances where using the right phrasal verbs or idioms made a big difference in your communication.
One instance that comes to mind is when I had to negotiate with a potential partner for a collaboration. Using phrases like to be on the same page and to touch base regularly really helped us build a strong foundation for our partnership and ensured that we were working towards the same goals.
That's a great example, Emma. It shows how mastering these expressions can improve your communication skills, especially in professional contexts. I think we've covered some really valuable points today, and I'm looking forward to continuing this conversation in our next part.
Absolutely, Liam. There's still so much to explore, especially when it comes to the creative side of social media and how we can use English in more innovative ways to engage our audiences. Let's keep the conversation going and see where it takes us.
I'm excited to see where our discussion leads next. Maybe we can delve into the world of social media trends and how language plays a role in shaping these trends. It's an area that's constantly evolving, and there's always something new to learn.
That's a fantastic idea, Liam. Understanding how language influences social media trends can give us insights into how to better connect with our audiences and create content that resonates with them. Let's explore this idea further and see what we can discover.
I completely agree with you, Emma. Understanding how language influences social media trends can really help us stay ahead of the curve. For instance, let's pick up on some of the latest slang terms that are trending online. By doing so, we can create content that's more relatable and engaging to our audience.
That's a great point, Liam. And I think it's also important to keep up with the latest social media algorithms and updates. This way, we can ensure that our content is being seen by the right people and that we're not missing out on any opportunities to connect with our audience. It's all about being proactive and staying informed.
Exactly. And another thing that's really important is to put across our message in a clear and concise way. We don't want to confuse our audience or make them feel like they're missing out on something. By being straightforward and transparent, we can build trust and credibility with our audience, which is essential for any successful online presence.
I love that phrase, Liam. Put across is such a great way to describe the importance of clear communication. And I think it's also worth mentioning that we should follow up on our interactions with our audience, whether it's responding to comments or engaging with people on social media. It's so important to show that we value and appreciate their feedback and support.
Absolutely. Following up is crucial in building relationships and establishing a loyal community. And speaking of community, I think it's really interesting to explore how language can bring people together online. Whether it's through social media groups or online forums, Language has the power to unite people from all over the world and create a sense of belonging and connection.
That's such a beautiful point, Liam. Language really does have the power to transcend borders and cultures and create a sense of global community. And I think that's something that we should all strive for, especially in today's digital age. By using language in a way that's inclusive and respectful, we can reach out to people from all walks of life and create a more harmonious and compassionate online environment.
I couldn't agree more, Emma, and I think that's a great note to end on. Let's summarize some of the key takeaways from our conversation today. We've talked about the importance of understanding how language influences social media trends, staying ahead of the curve, and creating content that resonates with our audience.
That's right, Liam. And we've also explored some really useful phrasal verbs and idioms like pick up on, keep up with, put across, and follow up on. These are all great tools to have in our language toolkit, especially when it comes to social media and online interactions.
For example, if we pick up on a trending hashtag, we can use it to our advantage and increase our online visibility. Or, if we keep up with the latest social media updates, we can stay ahead of the competition and provide our audience with the most up-to-date information.
Exactly. And by putting across our message in a clear and concise way, we can avoid confusion and build trust with our audience. It's all about being strategic and intentional with our language and using it to achieve our goals and connect with others.
Well, I think that's all the time we have for today, Emma. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you about mastering English for social media and online interactions.
The pleasure is all mine, Liam. Thanks to everyone who tuned in to this episode of English Vibes Hub. If you liked this conversation, be sure to like this video. Subscribe to our channel at English Vibes Hub S6W, and tune in next time for more fun and informative discussions on English language and culture.